that your child would get in any other traditional setting, they're going to be exploring here. And that was really important for us to develop legitimacy and trust in all of these people that were coming through for a short time. Because Cabarete and Sosua, these towns, they're filled with a lot of people who are world travelers. And a lot of these people have chosen a life where they take risks, where they learn new things. They're digital nomads or they're entrepreneurs. They certainly have a different idea of raising their children, but they face a lot of pressure from back home to meet the expectations of whatever their home culture is. And I know every single parent has that, sort of bird on their shoulder that's asking them, but what about education? What about healthcare? What about safety? And they've got to go back and talk to their parents or their friends or their siblings and explain what they're doing. And I noticed that with a lot of our first families. They were, they loved that their kid was having a great time. Their kid was coming home talking about how much they loved school for the first time. And it filled them with this almost sense of fear because they didn't understand what was happening there. And they didn't know how to explain it fully to their friends and family back home. And so I always had to really try to take this concept of student-first learning and make sure that it's built around language and structures and understanding that people in a traditional setting can understand. A lot of focus on that. By the time we hit March, we were not close to our goals, and dread was setting in, even though I wasn't telling everybody this. And we opened up our school for an open house. Throughout that first year of school, we had offered so many opportunities for the community to come into our campus. We did a holiday fair, we would do movie nights, did a lot of after-school programs. So I got a chance to shake hands with a lot of the families in the community. And over and over again, people would say how much they wanted to join the school the next year. And, while it was great, I still felt this real fear that we were not going to make ends meet. And so we hold this open house, announcing enrollment for the following year, and I couldn't believe it. It was a packed house. We didn't have enough chairs in the building to seat everyone that came. And we gave this wonderful presentation where we talked about all the things we did, but one of the things that we really said that I feel like really resonated with them is that all this stuff that we're saying, all this pedagogy and all these methodologies, they don't really mean anything more than this, that we know your kid and we care about your kid. We go to your kid's events. We see your child. We integrate all these subjects into one because it allows each of our guides to spend all day with your kid. We see when they're having a good day, we see when they're struggling, and that means so much to that kid who's really going through those feelings of wondering, is school or is learning something that I can do? And it gave us really this opportunity to use our skills as counselors and, to really build the character in many of the same ways that I learned to do in working with those kids back in the States who had been told they were failures. And so at this massive open house that we had, I had this wave of signups for the next year, saving us from defeat and from destruction, and meaning we could live to see another day. And all these families would come in and they would say a really common question. They would say, well, my child is 10, so how many kids will be in their class? Because often they understood that new small schools might have a 5th grade class of like 2 or 3 kids. But because we didn't have grade levels per se, I always could tell them, don't worry about it. And I never told them that their kid would be in a group of only 5th graders. This need for our survival turned out to be a really important element of our success. Because as students started pouring in and signing up, it allowed us to build classes not around any particular grade level, but around student numbers.